Right now on the National Weather Desk, severe storms. Hail pounds portions of Texas. Today, the region prepares for heavy rain and a tornado threat. Total eclipse. We have every angle covered from yesterday's sky show from across the country.
It was amazing. It was incredible.
To high in the sky.
The sun itself, I would say, it was pretty underwhelming.
And even from the zoo.
Elephants grouped together and appeared to head back to the area where they sleep.
And just days before the start of the Masters, we'll look at a connection between the weather and how far a golf ball travels.
For every 10 degrees that we go above, let's call it 75, every club in your bag is going to carry 2 yards longer.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Meteorologist Steve Rudin from WJLA in Washington, D.C. I'll be filling in for the next few weeks. Severe storms ripped across parts of Texas yesterday just after the eclipse. Storm chaser Brett Adair was in the Dallas-Fort Worth area where storms brought heavy rain, high winds, and large hail. Hail became so large at one point it prompted the National Weather Service to activate weather sirens. Power outages reported. However, there was no major damage or injuries. A severe weather threat continues today with a focus on East Texas and Louisiana. Planned for a midday lull before storm chances increase later this afternoon. It is all part of a robust weather maker moving across the southern plains. The Storm Prediction Center has put parts of Texas and Louisiana under a slight risk or enhanced risk, or levels 2 out of 5, I should say. The risk will impact about 20 million people. Tornadoes, heavy rain, strong winds, and destructive hail are all possible for the region. New data shows the Earth broke heat records for the 10th consecutive month. The data from the European Climate Agency shows last month's averaged almost 60 degrees, with both air temperature and the world's oceans heating up. Temperatures outpaced the previous record set in 2016 by about 1/10 of a degree. Scientists say record-breaking warmth is surprising due to a powerful El Nino. The Earth has broken heat records every month since June of 2023. When it comes to global temperatures, the shift from El Nino to La Nina will be important. That shift is already starting to take place. Green Bay meteorologist Patrick Powell looks at how long the transition will take and what it means for your local forecast.
We are in the middle of a huge transition out in the Pacific Ocean. Over the last few months, we have had a very strong El Nino. And El Nino is the warm water that streams out across the equatorial Pacific. Now we are rapidly transitioning to a La Nina. Matter of fact, an extremely rapid change heading from a warm pattern to a colder pattern. So we've had a strong El Nino throughout the winter, running about 2 degrees centigrade above average through the equatorial Pacific. That is rapidly transitioning to a La Nina. Usually that can take anywhere from 1 to 3 years, but by fall, the forecast for La Nina is supposed to be negative 1.1 degrees centigrade. So that would mean a 9-month transition from a strong winter El Nino to a strong or becoming strong fall La Nina. So that's a rapid transition.
Now the total solar eclipse, which left many who witnessed totality with an experience they will not soon forget. This is the view most saw in its path as the moon blocked the sun. We have several other views you may not have seen. This is what it looked like from the GOES satellite operated by NOAA. Watch carefully and you can see the shadow passing over North America. It moves quickly, and that makes sense because totality from Texas to Maine lasted just about 68 minutes. Here's another view from meteorologist Ed Russo. He flew a drone over Erie, Pennsylvania. This was taken around 3:15 in the afternoon, and you can see the impact as the sky darkened. We have several reports on how many reacted to the eclipse, starting with Monique Lopez.
Pretty much anywhere you were in Central Texas today, the sky looked like this. A total eclipse, eclipsed by clouds. You were one of the lucky ones if you were in Fredericksburg, though. At the point of totality, lightness quickly turned to almost complete darkness. It's where more than 100 people from all over the world traveled for this rare moment.
You're kind of struck by the enormity of it. At first you feel really small because these huge objects are happening in the sky.
Cheers from the crowd could be heard anytime the clouds parted ways, showing us a glimpse of the eclipse, even if it was just for a few seconds.
I also felt overcome with some emotions as well. It was like a total eclipse of the heart.
That was worth our 8-hour drive from Richmond, Virginia to Cincinnati, and then the 1 hour from there to here.
Admiring the eclipse at all stages.
We watched the solar eclipse unfold. The sun was like a crescent sun.
But it just went so dark. I wasn't expecting it. And then just the tiniest little bit of sun that came back lit everything up so much.
We may not be around another 20 years from now for the next eclipse, but
well, I hope you are.
Yes, I hope so too.
What to expect would understand why people who have already experienced totality keep coming back for more.
It was amazing. It was incredible. It was beautiful. It was really nice. I'm glad I was here.
What did you think?
It was the most beautiful thing I've seen in my life. It was amazing to be able to see it with my family and the people I love most.
Now that it's over, it's time to start planning again.
The next one is in 2026 in Spain, so I may do that one too. I don't think I'm going to make the 2044 one in North America, though.
And some were lucky enough to witness the eclipse from an airplane some 35,000 feet in the sky. However, the views were not what some had thought they would be. Betty Cross has more.
Takeoff of Flight 1721 was a chance to chase totality across the sky. From Austin to Indianapolis, passengers could experience it longer than people watching from the ground. Many passengers were enthralled by the color-filled horizon and darkening of the sky, comparing it to a stunning sunset. But where some struggled was finding a comfortable spot to see the moon block the face of the sun.
The sun itself, I would say, was pretty underwhelming.
The sun was positioned almost directly above the plane, so passengers quickly realized the only vantage point was on the floor, looking straight up through the window.
For anyone planning for the next one, I think you better see it from the ground.
The ground is probably the best place to see it. Leading up to the eclipse, there was a ton of talk about how animals would react. So what happened? Ed Levendera, who was in the path of totality, has more from the Dallas Zoo.
It was like momentarily walking into the classic comedy Night at the Museum. A glimpse into the secret lives of animals at the Dallas Zoo when humans aren't around to watch. Here and around the country, elephants grouped together and appeared to head back to the area where they sleep. Flamingos packed together in the middle of a pond in their habitat. Primates apparently also thought it was bedtime. Animal experts say the sudden darkness triggered a natural reaction among many of the animals.
At nighttime, predators go out a lot more, and so they have to kind of huddle together to be safety in numbers and in case something's coming. So they went into that instinct pretty quickly.
At this doggy daycare in the Dallas area, this group of dogs seemed to stop, confused by the sudden darkness. When the sun returned, the dogs started playing around again. But not all animals were flustered or impressed by the total eclipse. Tobogo the giraffe mostly walked around, unfazed, ready to start chewing on the lettuce the humans feed him when the sun came back.
I hope you were able to watch at least some of our 3-hour special following the totality from Texas to Maine. If you missed it, here are a few memorable highlights.
There it is. Corona. We got a Corona.
Oh, it's back. It's back.
Right there. Oh my gosh. Yes.
That answered that question.
So lucky. So lucky right
There's
now.
the emotion.
People are cheering. You can hear them here around me. Everyone's so excited we're able to actually see the moon right now.
We are at totality right now. You can see my photographers got it on us. We have everyone taking photos, taking videos.
I've never seen anything like this, guys.
We have talked about this for years. Wow. And the moment is even better than you could have anticipated. Look at that. It's just amazing.
You
can see it's gotten incredibly dark, almost as if it is sunset here in Carbondale. You can see it is absolutely beautiful.
Watching Chanel, what is it?
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with Look at the Northeast. We have a wide range in temperatures on the way in the Northeast. Today, 50s through most of New England, New York, New Jersey. You'll be in the 60s and 70s. There'll be an onshore wind at the coastline. That's why we're coolest through parts of New England. 2 o'clock this afternoon. It's a bright, sunny day. Look at this. Sunshine will rule the sky from beginning to end. Clouds start to move in tonight, and there will be some showers that arrive on Wednesday. It's looking a little unsettled Thursday and Friday with some more wet weather.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Bailey. Here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. Tuesday starts out dry, but we will look at showers and thunderstorms becoming a little more likely, especially in the afternoon and evening hours. We'll see that activity track across the area, and that is not going to be even the near the end of it. We've got plenty more coming with rain chances as we head into Wednesday, Thursday, and again on Friday. Luckily, temperatures will be pretty comfortable. Highs will reach the upper 70s, and then once again on Wednesday, still going to be pretty warm with temperatures in the 70s.
Good morning. I'm meteorologist Charlotte Carl. Temperature is pretty warm across the area, just a bit above our averages for this time of year. We're going to be in the 60s in the northern part of our area. We have western Tennessee and Arkansas in the 60s. Same with Asheville, 70s for the majority of the southeast, 80s as you get closer to South Florida. This weekend, disorganized frontal boundary system will be moving across the southeast. It will gain some organization in the western part of the area, heading overnight into Wednesday.
The National Weather Desk.
We head to West Virginia, where muddy water covered most of Wheeling Island last week. The Ohio River swelled past its banks after intense rain. The island sits in the middle of the Ohio River and features a sports venue that was hit hard. Gina Dopra has more on the cleanup efforts, including a method that may raise a few eyebrows.
Muddy water covered most of Wheeling Island last week as the Ohio River rose. And among those areas flooded, Wheeling Island Stadium was one of the worst.
Nothing we didn't anticipate. We've been down this road before. I think the stadium's been in a floodplain since 1920.
No harsh damage was done, but a lot of mud has been left behind on the turf and surrounding areas.
Our custodians at Wheeling Park and Ohio County all together did an unbelievable job of getting everything out of there. So now we just got, the general cleanup.
Doherty says they will start with the concession stands, the restrooms, and other areas like that to get them fixed up because they have a different approach for the muddy field.
We found over the years it's a little bit easier to let it dry a little bit.
As opposed to scraping it off while wet, which would push mud further into the turf, creating a bigger problem. But once it dries and they can peel it up, the county will take proper action for the turf.
It'll take a little while, and in every flood you learn a little bit, what to do and what not to do, and we'll put our practices that were successful in the past together on this go-around.
We know that weather affects sports like football and baseball. What about golf? The weather could impact how far a golf ball travels. A golf pro in Savannah, Georgia has come up with a temperature and wind formula to determine what that difference is. Emily Gracie spoke to Andrew Rice and has all the details.
All of the information I'm going to share with you is very much what I term to be a rule of thumb, Emily. Okay, it's not going to be exactly perfect, but it really is good enough for the vast majority of golfers out there to make better informed decisions as to what club to hit and how to play a particular shot. So temperature, for every 10 degrees that we go above, let's call it 75. So if we're playing at 85, every club in your bag is going to carry 2 yards longer. But let's say we're playing at 45 degrees, that's 30 less. That's 3 times 2, which is each club is going to be 6 yards shorter based on the temperature.
We talk about really windy golf courses and how just somebody's game is going to change completely. Can you tell me how it's changed? What have you learned in that aspect?
For wind, I would say I'm currently on my 5th formula. As I try to whittle it down, and I try to make each one better than the last. A wind is almost never constant. It's ever changing. And that refers to the velocity of the wind, and the point that it's coming from is always varying. That variation can increase your dispersion by up to 30%. 5, 10, 15, or 20. If you've got that mph of wind blowing directly in your face, regardless of the club you're hitting, that is going to be the yards difference that your ball will travel. You've got an 8-iron into a 20 mph wind straight at you, add 20 yards. If you've got a 5 mph wind blowing in your face and you're hitting a driver, your ball is going to go 5 yards less than before.
If you want to take a deeper dive with Andrew, be sure to check out his podcast this week, Off the Radar. You can find Off the Radar for free anywhere you listen to your podcast. Allergy season has arrived and many are suffering across the country. Climate change may seem unrelated at first glance. However, it could impact how long aggravating allergies may last. Meteorologist Jenna Warder has more.
Spring. Plants blooming. Beautiful flowers. All ingredients for allergies. As the climate changes globally, it has a greater impact on plants and their pollen. One major shift is a longer allergy season. Brooke Lappy is a doctoral candidate at Emory University's Rollins School of Public Health. She studies the relationship between pollen and climate change.
Climate change, we know, is driven by the increase in carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere. And climate change largely is giving rise to a series of interconnected consequences. And these collective impacts have far-reaching effects on pollen season.
Clemson assistant professor Dr. Matt Koski studies the evolution and ecology of flowering plants and how the change in when plants flower affects the duration of pollen season.
So we see things like earlier flowering in spring blooming plants, later flowering in summer and fall blooming plants, where it really extends the season within which plants can flower.
Not only is it just a longer pollinating window, but plants can release more pollen in some instances because of elevated temperatures and because of increased carbon dioxide levels. So not only there's a longer period people are exposed, and they're possibly exposed to even higher amounts than they would have been historically.
The pollen grains that actually cause allergies aren't the yellow ones from pine trees. They're microscopic, a majority of which are from oak, juniper, elm, and birch trees. And not only do they get into your airway, they can even stick to your clothes and your hair. As the climate continues to change quickly, more seemingly unrelated impacts, like allergy season, will emerge.
The thought of jellyfish may freak you out at first sight. Meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell explains the phenomenon where they end up getting stuck on the beach. But the type of jellyfish isn't one to fear.
Well, hi there, everybody. I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. You've likely strolled on a beach or two in your life and come across a view like this one. A jellyfish there sitting comfortably in the sand. But have you ever come upon a view like this one where the jellyfish are just everywhere? By the thousands, tens of thousands, in fact. Look at the view here earlier this week over Ocean Shores. That's in the state of Washington. These photographs, by the way, sent in by TK Ramsey. And the beaches in both Oregon and Washington were just positively covered with little jellyfish. They are called the Velella jellies. They're also known as the by the wind sailors because they have a little flap on top that acts like a sail, such that they catch the wind. And if the wind is just right, they can blow and blow across the surface of the ocean all the way to our beaches, and then thousands can get stranded. And that's exactly what happened in the Pacific Northwest throughout this first week of April. They do have a striking blue pigment. A lot of the creatures that live on the surface of the ocean do. It protects them from the sun. It also gives them some camouflage. When they do come ashore and get dried out in the sun, they do tend to bleach to white, but they start out as this beautiful, brilliant blue shade. Don't worry, you need to watch where you step, but they are harmless to humans. For the National Weather Desk, I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell.
As we head to break, take in this view of a pristine beach in the Philippines.
Well, a very good Tuesday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buckle-Michael. Today, we got rain moving its way into the Ohio Valley, but the plains looking pretty good. A lot of sunshine with highs in the 70s. Rain builds even more for your Wednesday, and temperature-wise, cooling down a little bit across a lot of the Midwest. That rain continues across the Great Lakes and the Ohio Valley for Thursday, including a chance for some strong to severe storms across the Ohio Valley Thursday as well. Still a lot of sun out across the plains.
Good Tuesday morning. I'm meteorologist Joe DiCarlo. Look at our forecast across the region. We're tracking strong to severe thunderstorms. That's an enhanced risk from central Texas into eastern Texas, western Louisiana through the day today. So the morning, already seeing some strong to severe thunderstorms. We'll have a lull during the afternoon, and then more intense thunderstorms possible tonight into the very early hours of Wednesday. Again, all modes of severe weather will be possible. Large hail, damaging winds, even the threats of isolated tornadoes. Stay safe. Have a great Tuesday.
Good morning. I'm meteorologist Rebecca Stevenson, and here's what's happening across the West. A big ridge of high pressure is pumping up high temperatures above normal for California into parts of Arizona. But as we talk about the Pacific Northwest, this is where a cold front has been bringing in slightly cooler air, but really we're seeing quite a bit of rain and mountain snow come into the Pacific Northwest, increasing to the south, but only dry and gusty winds for the Four Corners. That's the scene from here.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Monday's total solar eclipse was memorable, including the moment of totality in Dallas, to the diamond ring effect as seen in Arkansas, and Holton, Maine, the last town the eclipse was visible in the United States. The darkness triggered city lights in Rochester, and clouds and scattered showers cleared enough for this partial eclipse view from Virginia.
Listen to Off the Radar, new episodes every Tuesday.
Let's check in to see the weather in cities across the country today. We begin in Texarkana, Arkansas. Plan for a risk of severe weather this afternoon. Thunderstorms are likely to produce hail, gusty winds, and even an isolated tornado or two. Temperatures range from the upper 60s to lower 70s. Next, we head to Daytona Beach, Florida. Sunshine will slowly fade behind clouds later today. Highs are forecast to be around 80 degrees, along with a chance for a sprinkle or two. Off to Minneapolis, Minnesota with a view of downtown. A mix of sun and clouds will bring a slight chance for afternoon showers and highs in the lower 60s. And finally, we head over to Baltimore. That's where we're looking at partly cloudy skies this morning and then added clouds this afternoon with a chance for showers. Temperatures will be in the upper 70s, well above normal for this time of year. Thank you so much for looking in this morning. I'm glad you were able to join me. I'm meteorologist Steve Rudin from WJLA in Washington, D.C. Make it a great Tuesday, and I'll see you back here tomorrow.